Hi, dear students. How are you? Welcome back to Personality Development chapter. This chapter we talked about personality and the definition of personality. We talked about also segment Freud theory. We talked about that he has three levels of consciousness, and we talked about that he consists here. This theory is consists of three parts, which are the id and the ego and the super ego. Okay, so and we talk that the id, let's remember this together, the energy constantly striving to satisfy basic drives, like example the pleasure principle. And then the ego seeks to gratify the id in realistic ways, reality principle. And then the super ego, the voice of conscious that focuses on how we ought to behave. So let's talk today about something, the four types of personality theorists. So I'm having four theories. First of all, psychodynamic, then the humanistic trait, then the social cognitive. When we talk about the psychodynamic personality, this I'm talking about what? I'm talking about I'm going as a psychologist make an analysis of your situation. So I'm going, the source of information about your personality here is obtained from whom? An expert, the psychologist who makes here the analysis for you, from people in the therapy or in the experiment. Cause of behavior, thoughts, and feelings. So I'm going to do what as a psychologist? I'm going to know the cause of your behavior, your action, the thoughts, what are you thinking of, and I'm going to focus on your feelings. So here I'm talking about the unconscious internal conflict associated with the childhood experiences. So what do you think, guys, we are talking about here? If I'm here analyzing you or analyzing your reaction, so your reaction here is based on what? On your thoughts and feelings, and also on your experiences of the childhood. Also, the unconscious conflicts here between the pleasure seeking and what? I'm not only pleasure seeking, and I have to be aware of the social restraints. If I do this, this is acceptable in the society or not. Then I'm going here to outlook on humans. This is the pros and cons here. This is the negative thing about the psychodynamic personality theory, which is what here I'm doing, what I'm analyzing people. I'm here outlook on humans. I'm just here watching people. Okay, and this is a negative thing. What about here the comprehensiveness of the theory? Yes, this theory is very, very comprehensive. So this is for many are called this new Freudians. Why new Freudians? Because here it's like update for the Freud theory. Was for someone who's called Carl Jung. So here the personal versus collective unconscious. He talked about the unconscious. All he searched in person or in the behavior of person or the feelings or the attitudes of the personal was the unconscious part, and he was very successful, of course. Balance between the introversion and the extroversion. Okay, we have some psychologists, another two psychologists here, Alfred Adler and Karen Horney. For Alfred, striving for superiority, and this is not very important, motivation to master environment, and here the notion of inferiority complex. So all I want you to focus here in this point, I'm focusing here on the psychodynamic personality theory, and this is for Carl Jung. Okay, this humanistic here personality theory, we said that Okay, please focus in this part. This is source of information about personality and the causes of behavior, thoughts, and feelings, and the unconscious part. And here the pros and cons. Here the outlook on humans, positive, and the comprehensiveness of theory, negative. Let's talk about here the humanistic perspective. So, I have here Maslow's self-actualizing person and Rogers' person-centered perspective. So, healthy rather than sick. Individual as greater than the sum of test scores. Let's see what we are talking about here. Maslow and Rogers. Humanistic approach, third force. Here it's rejected, we here rejected Freud's pessimistic view of personality, because Freud was very pessimistic for the ones who didn't accept his theory. Rejected behaviorists' mechanistic here view, more optimistic, positive about human nature. Humans are free and basically in the humanistic approach, and basically good. Humans are inner directed. Here in the humanistic approach, I'm talking about the inner directed, the unconscious. I'm talking about the free, and I'm talking about that the person here, they assume that the person here is free, and here is from himself, his nature is good one. Everyone has the potential for the healthy growth. Healthy growth involves here self-actualization. So this means that be all you can be. Given the right environmental conditions, we can reach our full potential. Rogers' person-centered perspective. Here, what does he say? People are basically good with actualizing tendencies. Given the right here, according to Roger, he gave the right here for the environmental conditions we will develop to our potentials. So he talked about the idea with genuineness, acceptance, and empathy. So central here feature for personality. Okay, this was for Carl Rogers, and all I want you to focus on Maslow, and here I want you to focus on this also, the humanistic personality theories, this here slide. What about this Carl Rogers? Let's have here a very quick overview about this. Our image, he said that, or he focused his theory focused on the self-concept, our image or perception of ourselves. How can you see yourself? How can you interpret yourself? So, real self versus ideal self. So, what does it mean, the difference between them? The real self. Okay, what am I or who am I? Versus the ideal self. The ideal self here means what? I'm here, the ideal one. I need more and more to improve my personality or not. Conditions of worth or conditional positive regards. I'm having here the conditions under which other people will approve of us. We change our behavior to obtain approval. What do you think, guys? Here, who am I? What are the characters of mine? These characters or these characteristics here approve others. They are approved by others or not. If not, I'm going to improve myself to be self-approved from others or not. Self-approved from myself or approved from other in society or not. What we need is unconditional positive regards. Here, anxiety signifies that we are not being true or to our ideal self. Well-adjusted person, self-concept, and of course the experience. Poorly adjusted person, self-concept, and experience. So the most important thing, this is very important part. Maslow's hierarchy of human motives. One must satisfy lower needs before one satisfy higher needs. So the most important needs here are in at the bottom. Why? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, first of all, I'm talking about in the bottom, the psychological. So I'm talking about physiological. So I'm talking about food and what? Food and shelter. Then safety and this is, we have here a very good example as a cave, as we are living in a cave now. So the first important thing to be satisfied is what? The uh, shelter and food. I need shelter and food, the first thing I need. Then safety and security, of course. After bringing the safety, the bread, the food and shelter, then I will go to the other level, or the higher level is safety and security. So if I'm here in a cave or something, or in a jungle, so the first thing I can see here an animal, the first thing I'm striving, I'm starving. I'm starving, so I'm going to do what? I'm going to fight to eat, right? So the first thing I'm going to here fight here, it's not from safety. I can be killed, or I can be injured. So the first thing I will fight to death to take what? To take food and shelter. Then I'm going to here go to my cave, inside the cave. So this is safety and security. Then here belongingness and love. When you are secure in a cave, so you want to have a partner in this part. Then the self-esteem, and then the self-actualization, and the transcendence. Let's see what does it mean here according to Abraham Maslow. So self-actualization is what? Is the culmination of a lifetime of inner directed growth and improvement. So this is the improvement, the inner directed growth for improvement of self. So challenging ourselves to the fullest. Can you identify self-actualized individual? Characteristics of the self-actualized person. So what are the characteristics of the self-actualized person? We reach here the self-actualized after the self-esteem. So if I am creative and open to new experiences, so I am self-actualized. If I am committed to a cause of a higher goal, so I want to get higher and higher goals. So I'm here optimistic, here trusting and caring of others, yet not dependent. Have the courage to act their convictions. So okay. So, let's talk about the trait personality theory. Trait approaches have tried to identify the most basic and relatively enduring dimensions along which people differ from one another. So, what does it mean here? Traits. What are you saying? Traits. It means the characters, the characteristics here. How many trait dimensions are there? How can we measure the trait dimensions? Where do these trait dimensions originate? So, here I'm talking about all port. Most important personality traits are those that reflect our values. So, the most important about this, what traits that here, what characters that here identify your personality, what to of course to identify our personality and also reflect our values. Suggested that there are, we have Albert here suggested that there are three kinds of traits according to Albert: cardinal, central, and secondary. Here this cardinal single personality trait that directs here most of the person's activities. What about central? A set of major characters that make up the core of a person's personality, and then the secondary, less important personality traits that do not affect here the behavior. Okay. According to Albert, it's just for reading, guys, and Cattle's also for just for reading. Okay, so we have here five big, five factor model of traits. I have emotional stability, extraversion, openness, agreeability, Billness, consciousness. Okay. When I talk about emotional stability, it means I'm talking about what calm. If I'm calm or anxious, this is important. If I'm secure or I feel insecure. Extraversion, I'm talking about sociable. I'm sociable or retiring. I'm fun-loving or sober. Openness, I'm imaginative or practical. Independent or conforming. Agreeableness, soft-hearted or ruthless. Trusting or suspicious. Consciousness, or am I organized or disorganized, careful or careless? So let's have a summary of what we said. So traits, characteristics or typical ways of acting. I'm having here consistency or distinctiveness. Here consistency means across situations over time. Here it's that each personality is unique for the distinctiveness. Explain why individuals behave in certain ways. Here, how many traits are there and what they are. Not easy to answer, little consonants. Okay, so let's talk about the social cognitive. The social cognitive here, the last thing we're going to talk about, the source of information about personality obtained from what? Obtained here from the experiments that you lived before, observations of behavior. I'm going to observe your behavior, and questionnaire response from the general population. So, this one, another thing, it's the social cognitive. So I'm going to take information from the population. I'm going to put it into questionnaires, into written questionnaires. So this is here about the social cognitive. Cause of behavior, thoughts and feelings. I'm also seeking about here the causes of behavior about, and I'm seeking about your thoughts and feelings. Reciprocal here, influence between people, the cognitions and the behavior and their environmental situations. What are the impacts about your around you in the environment? Colored by the perception of control. Can you control yourself or your actions or not? Okay, so outlook on humans, neutral, neither positive nor negative. Comprehensiveness of theory, not very comprehensive. So this was the social cognitive learning perspective. So here behavior learned through what? Conditioning and observation. What we think about our situation affects our behavior. And this is interaction between environment and intellect. Okay, guys, this is according to Bandura. This is just for reading, Bandura, and this just for reading. Okay, I hope you understood everything here. Please, if you have any question, send me on the SCL. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.